You're right, guys. Welcome to Muscle Talks. So we're here today with Michaela and Vivek as well, and we've got Jon Hastie on the show. Right, John?
Hello.
Yeah. And we thought that today it would be really good to, let Michaela pick a topic. And Michaela's topic, Michaela, do you want to topic and then we'll go on from there?
Yeah, so we had an article kind of around Facebook among my American mates. By Ben Matlin is the author of Miracle Boy Grows Up, I believe is what it's called. He has SMA type 2. He's old, although he's only in his 50s, he's old for SMA. He's probably one of the oldest we've got, and he wrote an article in the New York Times discussing how he felt like a disabled life was worth living. And I thought that was a really good thing to discuss. I'm kind of way beyond what anyone ever thought I would live. I don't know where Vivek is on that time scale, but I know Jon's surpassed it and very much been says that's worth living. So I thought, hey, let's talk about it and see actually where we all lie on that spectrum.
Well, yeah, you suggested that, and I thought that would be really good. Relates in quite well with, the film Jon made a few years back, which I know inspired certainly me and Vivek have spoken length about it many times. Both Vivek and Jon, you both have Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and everyone talks all the time about life expectancy with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, being around about 29, 30 years old, although at the same time, often said people don't live past their teens, or so quite a wide ranging. And Jon, I think at 35 you've quite significantly surpassed that. I don't know, what's your view on that kind of prognosis that's given to people almost as a child that often doesn't play out as is expected?
Yeah, certainly, and I think it's not always helpful to talk about an average life expectancy, because I know when I was diagnosed it was 16, and it's changed a lot because of improvements like in ventilators and what have you. So kind of mid to late 20s is now the average, but you've got people still dying in their early teens with the condition, and then you've got people living into early 50s. So it's such a massive range that I'm not sure always an average is very helpful, because I know certainly, with that diagnosis that, you could die in kind of late teens, early 20s, then I think that kind of shaped my life as I was growing up.
Yeah, it has shaped me.
So exactly. Certainly, as a kid, I thought I was going to live till 21 might be a good thing to aim for. And now I'm 35. It's just crazy.
You could say, I spent all my money. I broke the law because I thought I wasn't going to live this long.
Yeah.
And you could claim some damages against that. But yeah, I don't know, Vivek. How's that shaped your?
Well, I think with me, I went to a special needs school, so most of the boys with Duchenne there, we were told that we lived to kind of 16 and 17, and I think that...
But you're told that in school?
Yeah, well, and through the appointments, it's like that kind of culture of maybe you don't have to try as hard because, you're not going to live as long. I don't agree with that, because you have to. I don't know. It's not helpful for you to grow in your life and to think that you can achieve quite a lot, which you can. If you've not seen people that are older than you, or you've not been in that environment, you're not going to know any different. So watching Jon Hastie's video kind of opened my eyes that there are people that are older, they use a machine and ventilate, and it makes you think, that's fine. So you start opening your mind to new opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I actually had a similar experience watching Jon's film for the first time those years ago. Obviously, my brother having Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and us growing up hearing similar stuff. That was almost my first time properly seeing some big kind of media that was done by, a man in his 30s with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And that really made me think, oh my gosh, yeah, this can be something different. This is something different. I don't know, Jon, was that part of what propelled you to, or pushed you to, say, yeah, I'm going to make this film?
Oh, well, yeah, definitely, because I know, and yeah, when I was kind of growing up at school, there were other kids with Duchenne there, and to be honest, most of them died. So kind of the life expectancy prediction was pretty just not for me. But yeah, it was then like kind of, well, in my late 20s, I was just kind of, I hadn't had much connection with other people with Duchenne, and then suddenly I was finding all these people that were living longer and older than I am now. So it's kind of, I think, and it wasn't just oh, look at there's people in their late 40s. It was kind of, it was, there's people in these late 40s and they've actually done stuff too. So it's not just a case of you've got more hours, more years on the planet. It's also about what you can actually do with that time as well. And I think that certainly inspired me. And I thought, I was feeling a bit kind of down about things, and I was inspired. So I just thought, I wanted to make sure other people could benefit from that as well, like I did.
Well, I think we speak about the kind of impact that prognosis can have on how you decide to develop as an individual. Is there a mental impact as well, as to thinking, oh, I've been told that I'm not going to live, or I'm not going to be able to do these things, so then...
Definitely, because if you outlive that age that they say you're going to die, and you kind of lost that, what do I do now? It's just, it's difficult.
I think I kind of got into the attitude of just doing one thing at a time, really, not really thinking ahead to where I wanted to be. So kind of, I stayed in education because that was easier and I enjoyed it. I wasn't really thinking about, what do I want to study in terms of what I want to do in my future and where do I want to go with my life. But kind of, it was just like, well, let's see if we can achieve this. All right, now we've done that. Kind of like, I'm not dead yet, so I have to find something else to do then.
That can be the name of your next film, Jon.
Yeah, exactly.
Not dead yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michaela, Michaela, all of this relates to a lot of the stuff that you've said in previous episodes and throughout our podcast series as well, with obviously your sister dying at the age of 14 and having the same thing as you, and you having that mindset that you wouldn't live past that age too.
Yeah, it's different for me because I had that benchmark to set against. So there was 9 years. My sister was 9 when I was born. She was absolutely overjoyed that I was diagnosed. Which shocked a lot of people. People were like, why is she so happy? They've just handed her a death sentence. She was almost happier that I had no ears than she was that I had SMA, so that you can take that how you want it. But she, at the age of 6, then I had a death in the family. A sister had died, but a sister that I connected to in a way that I suppose most people get the chance to. You get someone there who's got the same thing as you, that's going through the same things. And I remember being like 4 or 5 and being in the next bed chair and torturing her to get out of bed in hospital. That was just the way we behaved. That was just natural. And at the age of 6, and your sister's dead. And what I went through over the next couple of years was what type of coffin I was going to have. I called them burial boxes. I used to ask whether I was going to have my hands down or on my chest with rosary beads in them. All these really morbid questions come out of me. And I got to the age of 14 and I thought, right, I'm going to die before my 15th birthday. And the 20th day before my 15th birthday was the most stressful day I've ever been through, because it was that day that I had in my head. And after that passed, then it became the kids. So I have, 3 nephews and a niece. Or became their ages when they matched the age I was when Martina died. It was those days. And then it hit me, and it kind of cycles onwards. But at the same time, I was lucky enough to be brought up in an environment that didn't really give any clout to life expectancy at all. Martina was once asked what her life expectancy was at school, and we started in special school and moved to mainstream I did move pretty quickly. I moved in the first year of primary school, but Martina didn't get moved until high school. So she was asked in high school what her life expectancy was. And she turned around at the age of like 12 or 13 and said, "What's yours?" And the person she asked didn't have an answer for them. And that's the environment I've always been brought up in. I've been brought up in this environment that life expectancy doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No, nobody really actually knows when they're going to live to, and that's the thing that I cling on to most. And I think if I didn't cling on to that, I would struggle much more than I have.
And that's not just the disabled community.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I can go out tomorrow and get hit by a bus. Ben Matlin's article, he references Laurie Hurp, who, I think I'm pronouncing her surname right, she had a SMA and was on a boat, and she was coming off the boat and the ramp was large, and she died by drowning. She didn't die of SMA. And these are freak accidents that can happen to anybody. And I think that's what I cling on to, and I hold on to that. But I see so many people that struggle to do that and struggle with having been given a prognosis at such a young age that they're going to die by their late teens or early 20s. You're like, what do we do now?
No, I think this links to the broader aspect of, I think this specifically is probably for another episode when we talk about, if we talk about negative, negative words and things used. But one of those that strikes me as pertinent to this is the word fatal. Whenever they can describe a condition as,
yeah, they like that word.
I hate that word, and I always make sure that on the Muscle Hour we never use that word, and we accidentally used it at one time because it was included in a piece of text that we'd used, and I said to Michaela, should I take this down because I really disagree with this word? But that's the thing. It's like the idea of fatal is almost that's a whole preconceived idea.
To me, it feels like when you get diagnosed, that's the day you die.
Well, yeah, if it's fatal, that's it. But the thing that I always say is that I think Michaela was going to say is that life itself is fatal. Every we're not going to outlive this place, this body that we're in. So that idea, what that's saying to me is it's saying almost like this thing you have is going to kill you, but actually, that's not true anyway. There's plenty of people with DMD or SMA or any other things, as Michaela's just said, who you might die of something else. You might, you don't know. There might be a cure. These ideas that we want certainty and certitude on things, as you said, Vivek, I don't think they're particularly helpful.
No.
Yeah, I mean, life expectancy is helpful from a medical point of view. I come from a really weird school of thought that I can understand the medical model and I can empathize with it to an extent. And the medical model says that we're going to need fixed. Okay, fair enough. I don't agree with that, but that's what it says. And it's really helpful for them to have a range of life expectancies available to them. It lets them know how well treatments are working, how well interventions work. And that's really good. But in terms of the social model, in terms of allowing people to live an active and healthy life that contributes to society and however they choose to contribute, it's not helpful. In fact, it's a hindrance. I was the first person in my trust area in Northern Ireland, and quite possibly in all of Northern Ireland, to come home from hospital using a ventilator without 24-hour nursing care. And that was a breakthrough. And it was a breakthrough that allowed a lot more people to come home on that same treatment. And it's now used routinely. It's a huge service in and of itself in Northern Ireland now and right across the UK. But that's one of the things that they can measure with a life expectancy range. And I can understand how they're beneficial, but people need to, even me, I need to understand that there's no endpoint diagnosed.
Hmm.
And everybody needs to understand there's around point. What is if you don't know it? Because at the end of the day, someone can tell you you're going to die in 6 months and you might not necessarily do it. It's just your body's going to do it in its own time, whether you're disabled or not.
Yeah.
Against birth and then death. And whatever's in between, we don't know.
I mean, I can certainly see the value of it for like measurement and stuff, but it's a whole other thing using that to actually tell families that have, you know, recently received a diagnosis. And also it depends on how it's communicated, because like sometimes it's not like, oh, this is an average, but it might, you know, it could be more. And but you know, some of the less sensitive doctors might be kind of like, oh, well, they're not going to live past this, you know, not kind of categorically saying there's going to be an endpoint. So I think
because I think
communicated really carefully, I think it's fine. But yeah, it's just don't write people off basically.
I think that's the issue with telling about the life expectancy when they're newly diagnosed, because it's already quite a drastic change in their life. But saying the life expectancy is kind of upsetting them unnecessarily straight away, really.
And there's no certainty. That's I think if there's one thing that we've learned here is that like all you three were told, and my brother were told that they would live up until an age that you guys and my brother have long ago surpassed. So I think that's the key thing there. And I think maybe if we finish or conclude on maybe, I don't know, Jon, Vivek, what would you say to a family that has just been diagnosed with, his child has just been diagnosed with DMD? What kind of, in the way of prognosis or in the way of like telling them about life expectancy, what would, because in fact that was something that we get asked a lot when I do the Muscular Live episodes with my brother Andrew, is people say, what should we tell our child, but what should we tell them about their condition, about how long they're going to live? And I always think that would be insane to tell them, anything. They're going to understand their condition as they grow older. They're going to grow with their condition. That's what I always feel it would be. It would be madness to say, oh, by the way, you're only expected to live this long, to a child, or really to anyone at any point in time, that people can find out themselves. What's your view on in conclusion, what's your view on that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I would keep it more like what you might say to a non-disabled child. So no one really knows, and death is a part of life, so to speak, and it could happen at any point really. But I think I'd always focus on what the possibilities are, and end with a positive message really. And,
because
focus on you could live to a ripe age and achieve a lot of really positive stuff. So I think really focus on the positive, but I just kind of frame it that no one ever really knows.
I think it's just quite useful to be truthful and a bit realistic, that they may live to a certain age, but it's always an open book. Nobody can choose or can't really plan for your death. So it's best to just think about the life you're going to live rather than the end result.
Okay, that was wonderful. And, well, not obviously not our most positive, uplifting episode, but I think it was really, well, hopefully it's been really informative. And I think it's really good to talk about these things as well, because, again, they're not often talked about, or I see that they are talked about when they're actually being used in a bad way. Maybe just to kind of diminish a condition or put it down or say, oh, there's no hope for this. So I think it's important that it's put out there like that. Right. That's it, guys. Thanks for joining. And as always, give us a like and follow, all those other things. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.